what are the remote possibilities you'd be most worried about today?
Nothing that ever happens looks in hindsight like it was remote, because it happened. But today, it probably won't be criminality or North Korea. It probably might be a mistake or a flawed program that sells all your assets for a quarter of the value, and you can't pull it back.
An error in some piece of code.
Something like that. That's something that one has to worry about. Not something that's not inevitable. Some things that are inevitable that I'd be so concerned is how we manage interest rates going back to what I'll call normal, but normal by history. If everybody owns paper that has been issued at 0.5%, 1%, 2%, and interest rates go to 10-year interest rates go to 5%, not an unreasonable place for them to be if you look at over history, what happens to the mark-to-market on everybody's portfolio in the world, any instrument ever issued that's still extant? As a result of low interest rates, people have been taking extra credit risk, maybe sovereign risk, but extra credit risk in order to get higher yields. That will break people's hearts because things are stable, but if the market gets disrupted, it tends to be the weaker credits that separate the stronger credits separate from the weaker. So there's a number of things that can go wrong when money starts to get allocated by assigning a cost to money that's more consistent with history. And that's a long way from where we are now in the market.
Are we about to have an inflation problem?
There's a lot of remedies in the world, painful as they are, for inflation. It's very hard to get rid of deflation. So if you had to err on one side or another, you would err on allowing a certain amount of inflation to take place and not want to get yourself into a kind of deflationary. See Japan for 25 years as a reference.
Seeing this from both sides, it sounds to me like you think the Fed is doing just about the right thing now.
I respect the Fed for standing up to a lot of pressure. And I think, again, deflation is a terrible thing. Inflation you could tolerate. I mean, it's bad, and we can go through all the things and how unevenly inflation affects different segments of the population. But it's easy to deal. Again, inflation, you go out and you buy things now because it's going to get more expensive. When you have deflationary expectations, you say, something, I'll wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow you wake up, you say, I'll wait another day because it's getting cheaper and easier, et cetera. And so that really is then you really are in the economic doldrums.